Hello everyone! We are delighted to have you here for this new Burda video. We will be presenting the model 4A, which is featured on the cover of the number 2 issue of Burda Easy from March to April 2023. Together, we will make this loose-fitting dress that's perfect for all body types and features a straight bodice and a gathered skirt. You can wear this piece in any season. Just adjust the sleeve length and choose the right fabric. We've opted for a 100% organic cotton poplin with an adorable cat print from our partner C. Poly, who specializes in GOTS certified organic fabric. When it comes to supplies, you will need matching thread, pins, a sewing machine needle, sewing scissors, a tape measure, chalk, a pencil, a pen, a ruler, a tracing wheel, and Burda carbon paper. And don't forget to take your measurements and compare them with those in the chart in your magazine. This will help you determine the best fit for you. Now cut out or transfer pieces 1 to 4 from the pattern sheet number 2 and place them on the fabric according to the cutting layout. Transfer the outline of the pieces, then add the allowances and notches found in the instructions for your model. Cut out piece A from the fabric according to the dimensions indicated in the magazine, but don't add any seam allowance. I'm using a tracing wheel and carbon paper to transfer all the lines and notches to the opposite side of the fabric. Before I remove the pins from my cut pieces, I carefully place the paper underneath the fabric and run the tracing wheel along the pattern lines and over the notches. You can find more details in the instructions of your carbon paper. Now, cut out the interfacing for piece 4 and press it onto the back of the piece. The pieces will always be stitched together with the right side of the fabric inward, and unless otherwise specified, all seams will be secured with a back stitch. I start with the darts and the front pieces of the bodice. I place one dart line over the other, pin them, and then knot the thread together at the tip by hand or by pressing the button on the machine for this function. Now I press the darts downward. I place one front piece over the other, right sides together, and pin them along the middle front line. I stitch them together, starting from the notch for the slit along the middle front line. I press the seam open by gliding the iron along the fold. I then place the front shoulders and the back shoulders right sides together, pin the allowances, and stitch starting from notch 1. I neaten the edges and press the seams open. Now I move on to the facings. I place the shoulders of the back facing on the shoulders of the front facing, right sides together, pin the allowances, and stitch starting from notch 2. I press the seam open and neaten the outer edge of the back and front facing. I fold the facing toward the right side at the fold line and place it with the back facing on the neckline right sides together. I pin the edges after making sure the shoulder seams match up. Then I stitch the neckline. I trim the allowances and clip the curves up to the stitching. I lay the facing inward, press the neckline seam, and attach the shoulders to the dress with a few stitches by hand. I continue with the sleeves and sides. I place the sleeve on the armhole, right sides together, making sure notch 6 of the sleeve and armhole match up, and that the sleeve head notch matches up with the shoulder seam. I pin the allowances and stitch by holding on to the sleeve head between the stitches as indicated in the instructions. I trim the allowances, neaten them together, and press them toward the sleeve. I fold the sleeve in half and place the back and front side edges on top of each other, right sides together, making sure the armhole seam matches up. I pin the allowances, gather them, neaten the edges, and press the seams open. I move on to the skirt. I place a skirt panel on top of the other, right sides together, pin the side edges, stitch, neaten them, then press the seams open. To gather the skirt, I make my stitch as large as I can and then stitch 2 parallel lines, one 1 centimeter from the edge and the other 7 millimeters from the first, starting and stopping a little before the side seams. I also make sure to leave the gathering threads at the ends of the stitches. Now, I pull on the 2 bottom threads at the same time to gather the sides. Once this is the same size as the bottom edge of the bodice, I tie the threads and distribute the gathers evenly. I place the bodice inside the skirt, right sides together, and pin the allowances, making sure the side seams match up. I gather the allowances, neaten them together, remove the visible gathering thread, and press the seam toward the bodice. I finish by hemming the skirt and the sleeves. I neaten the skirt and the sleeve hem. Then I fold the hem of the sleeves and the skirt 3 centimeters to the opposite side of the fabric as I press. I pin it and stitch it 2.5 centimeters from the edge. And there you have it. The dress is finished. You can find the second tutorial of the magazine on our channel, which is for the 2C top. Don't forget to share your creations with us and other sewers on our social networks. As for me, I'll see you soon for a new model. Burda would like to thank and recommend its partner, C. Polly. Thank you for following us, and see you soon for a new tutorial.